Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How To App on iOS. And today we have the long-awaited and long-overdue interview with Hetriani. Yeah! And we're going to kick off with his latest track, Black. Fuck yeah! Hey everybody, welcome to the show. That was Black Rain by Hetriani, who is our special guest today on the show. I hope you're all doing well. If you're watching over on Facebook, what are you, crazy? Get over here to YouTube, because YouTube is a cool place to be. YouTube.com/Jade Starr. You can always watch this show in the browser at howtoapponios.com, or you can join us over at the Twitch, which is twitch.tv/howtoapponios. I hope you are all kicking goals today, because I'm wearing a Mr. Bungle shirt and life's good. Anyway, so without further ado, I've been trying to get this awesome artist on my show since February, and we've had a few things crop up, few obstacles in the way, but today the metal gods are shining on us, and thank fuck for that, because today, without further ado, this dude is happening, man. He's got over 7,000 subs on YouTube. He does these amazing reaction videos, writes awesome original music, and has a whole plethora of covers that he does on his channel. I would like to welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, Hetriani. Hey man, how you going today?
Hey Jade, how are you?
Rocking.
How's everybody doing?
Pretty sure everybody is happy and glad to see you, because yeah, it's taken a little while to get you on, but I'm damn happy we're here finally.
Yes.
Now,
yeah, it has been quite a journey.
Yeah. Now, are you in lockdown or something at the moment? Is that what's going on there?
Yeah, we're on a 1 month complete lockdown right now, so
wow,
just trying to kill time.
Yeah, well, I hope you get through it, because you know the rest of the world really should have followed Australia's model, because we went into lockdown for 8 months here, and it was really hard. Wow. But we have no cases in Australia at all, and we're living life normal, where the rest of the world is, you know, you should have followed us. We're not so stupid anyway.
No kidding.
You know, we may be at the bottom end of the planet, but we're a bit smart sometimes, us Aussies.
Well, you beat all of us, that's for sure.
Yeah. Alrighty, so that's your latest track that you've released, and that was a collab. So Gary Hubbs was involved in that. I had the absolute pleasure of being able to master that song. Tell us a little bit about how that track, how it came about.
That one was just trying to see how far down I could tune it and make it still sound like something. I find that when I down tune too much, it just starts to all turn into mush when I play. So that was about as low as I could get. And then I just sat down and pretended I was the guitar / bassist at the same time and riffed out for about half an hour. And voila, I had majority of the riffs written.
Yeah, it's a killer song. And look, it is really hard to down tune. I think there's only one band I know who do it really well. That's Carcass. And these guys' strings are hanging off their guitars, and somehow they still sound like a symphony. I don't know how they do it. But
I know.
So, all right, let's get into my questions here. Hetriani, what does music mean to you?
It's, well, since the very beginning, it's just been my way of life. I've listened to music, wanted to play guitar even before I knew, you know, what that would entail. Listening to, oh man, this is gonna suck, like my Def Leppard,
yeah,
and stuff like that. Back when I was, you know, preteen, and yeah, I mean, I would, you know, just imagine myself on a stage in front of people. So I mean, like, I think my whole life has revolved around wanting to create music and play music and have people be able to sing along with what I'm doing, or, you know, just enjoy listening to what I'm doing. So it's a way of life. I've kind of conditioned myself to need to play guitar over the years and to need to listen to music. So,
and has it been? I mean, we've all coped differently through this pandemic stuff. Has music, did that help you get through a lot of this stuff that's been going on?
Yes. I found with the pandemic is when I restarted to do YouTube. I had done YouTube back in 2008, and had some fun with it, and then I was in a couple of car accidents that laid me up for the better part of a decade. Oh, wow. And yeah, so then I had moved and I relocated, and the pandemic hit, and I thought, well, you know, I got a couple of old songs kicking around on my old computer. Maybe I'll upload them to YouTube and see what happens. I've been doing it ever since then. So
it's certainly happening, because, you know, you're smashing it with subscribers at the moment. They seem to be flocking to you like flies
Uh,
bees to a honeypot on the subscriber list there.
yeah, it's actually kind of caught me off guard. I think some of the reaction videos helped with that a
Yeah.
lot, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, before I did that, I was, I still held strong with what I had like back in 2008. I had gathered quite a few back then, but YouTube was a much different place back then. And so yeah, it's grown quite quickly actually since I've come back. So it's kind of nice to meet all kinds of new people and have people collabing with me, and yeah, it keeps me on my toes for sure.
Do you recall the music that was being played in your house when you were growing up? And has it influenced you, like that your mum and dad would have played in the house?
Yeah, it influenced me into going and playing stuff that sounded nothing like it. My
Yeah.
my family liked to listen to a lot of country music. Now I am an Elvis fan, and there was some Elvis, but there was a lot of Patsy Cline
Wow.
and stuff like that too. So yeah, I just I didn't much care for that when I was younger. So everything I listened to was to get as far away from that as I could. So yeah, I guess that's kind of an influence.
I've never had that before. Normally everybody says Kiss. So, that's the one band that everybody seems to like agree on that they listened to when they were young.
I never listened to Kiss. Never. No. I was not a Kiss guy. I was an AC/DC guy, and for the longest time, that was all I'd listened to. That, and then I got into Metallica from there. So,
Yeah, man. I remember the first time I heard Metallica. But what was where were you the first time that you heard Metallica?
I was in my cousin's car while he was driving very unresponsibly fast, and I believe it was "Fight Fire with Fire" was the first Metallica song I actually heard.
Yeah, wow.
And yeah, it floored me. And I remember saying to him, "Oh, he's not as good as Angus."
Oh, wow.
And him and his teenage friends all laughed at me for probably 25 minutes. And then I went home ashamed and listened to Metallica, and yeah, the rest is history there.
Yeah, like regardless on how their careers have gone, like it definitely was Metallica that changed my direction. Because I remember I had a friend who had long hair and a guitar, and he couldn't play guitar for shit. And he was into Twisted Sister, and I kind of always thought, man, it's a bit wishy-washy. And then I heard Metallica and was like, mate, you can stick your Twisted Sister up your bum, dude. I found Metallica now. And then the next step was Slayer.
No doubt.
Once I heard Slayer, it was over.
Oh, yep. Slayer. I love the whole Big Four thing. Was brilliant to me. I so sad that I couldn't see that. I had no opportunity to, but I mean, all four of those bands just. Wow, had huge impact on me.
I'm guessing you're a bit younger than me. Like, I'm 48, so I was...
Not much younger than you.
Oh, really? Well, I just assumed.
I'm 45.
Well, there you go. See, I thought you were in your 30s. Yeah. There you go. I'm really observant. So have you? How many times have you seen Metallica live? Just on Metallica?
Just once.
Wow.
And it was on the worst tour too. The whole way down, a bunch of us all got.
Not the Snake Pit.
No. It was the Reload tour.
Oh, damn. Hey, lucky.
Yeah.
Look, it could have been worse. Could have been Saint Anger, man.
It could have been. But a whole bunch of us got in a van and bought tickets, and we all went down. And the whole way down, I'm listening to the Four Horsemen, and I'm like, "Oh, I can't wait! And I kept putting it on repeat. They're all, "Shut it off!" No. Get there. They come out for the second half with acoustic guitars and said, "See if you can figure out what this is." And then proceeded to play the Four Horsemen on an acoustic guitar.
Oh,
and it just devastated me.
Heartbroken.
I think I cried a little. Yeah, I was dead inside for the rest of the show.
When they came out here,
was good.
When they came out here for the first time, it was for Justice for All, and Australia was like, we'd never had Metallica, and Australians being the dickheads that we are, we got out the front and created a riot. We set things on fire, smashed windows, threw bricks at bus windows. The police came. It turned into an absolute mess. but it was great.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, man, I was on the bus coming through a tunnel just up to the venue, and this dude ran in front of the bus with a balaclava and threw a brick through the front window of the bus I was on. And I just looked at my mates and was like, "You fucking Metallica!" Young, dumb, and full of cum. What can I say?
Exactly. That's awesome.
So, do you recall the first album that you purchased, and what? Or was given? Or both? And what format was it on?
The first one that I was given would have been Elton John's Greatest Hits Volume 2.
Hey, nice.
One with Pinball Wizard and Levon.
Yep.
Which are both brilliant, but whatever. And that was on a tape. And then the first one I purchased, on my own was Back in Black, and that was a CD.
So you're clearly an AC/DC fan as well, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Have been right from the start. Absolutely brilliant. I love that band. I had everyone. I get bootlegs. I get whatever I could get my hands on. And I had like a tape rack and a CD rack, just chock full of them. You could hear the same song 40 times and not get sick of it.
See, in Australia, AC/DC gets associated a lot with what we call bogans here. I guess you'd call them rednecks in the US. Just beer-swilling Aussies who, you know, they just... Yeah, so they always get associated with them. And, the funny thing is everybody thinks they're from Australia. But they're not. They're Scottish.
Where are they from?
They're Scottish, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I knew Brian Johnson for sure was Scottish. You could tell just by the way he spoke. Yeah.
All right, so what are the influences musically that, create your music today?
Well, again, I guess aside from the obvious Metallica and, I mean, AC/DC still has an influence in stuff I play. I've been a big fan of Slipknot, I guess is a big one. Mm-hmm. Trying to think here. Put me on the spot. Now I can't even come up with names. My God. Well, Megadeth, of course, Anthrax, Slayer, like those guys. I'm still pretty pigeonholed. I don't listen to a whole lot of different stuff. I just kind of put myself in this little box with the specific bands that I liked when I was younger and I still like today. For me to branch out is not exactly easy. I always find something, it's not as good as Metallica. I don't know. It's a mental thing for me.
I think you're not alone in that. I think a lot of metalheads can identify with that. I know I'm exactly the same. I struggle finding new metal these days, especially when new metal kind of happened. I still listen to a lot of the older stuff that I did when I was younger, and I know a lot of metalheads who are still stuck in that. We're a bit stuck in our ways. We like what we like, and then anything that comes on new, it's like, no, it's not as good as that old thrash, you know. Because metal kind of goes... What do you think about this? Like, metal, the way it changes throughout every 20-year period, it seems to be like disco. It rehashes what it did 20 years ago. Like, we went through, like, British kind of metal, Metallica, Slayer, we went to thrash, then we went to grindcore, death metal, then it got to black metal, and then black metal had folk instruments in it, and it was like, okay. And then we went full circle again, and bands like Caius and stuff came about, and it was like back to... What do you think of today's metal, is what I'm getting at. Be honest, you can swear as well.
Most of it's just fucking shit. I'm sorry. I have tried. I have people send me, oh, you got to check this out. All right, cool. I'll listen to about 10 minutes of their stuff on Spotify or whatever, and then I'm just like, no, I'm done. I'm not going to even bother. Not all of it's bad, but the ones that aren't bad didn't stick well enough that I could tell you a name. So, yeah, I don't think too much of metal right now.
Yeah.
I like Stevie T and his gent. That's what I like.
I tend these days to find new metal on and I am saying new metal, not new metal, but on Bandcamp, there's a lot of killer bands who are sneaking around on Bandcamp who refuse to release their music on Apple and Spotify because they've there's this attitude still with a lot of metal who want to remain true to metal and not sell out and put their stuff. So
right.
There's a hell of a lot of great bands that are hiding in the dark, deep crevices of Bandcamp if you search hard enough. Definitely.
Well, I'll have to check out. I've never been on Bandcamp, so I don't know any of that stuff. I don't do anything. Like, I mean, I don't Instagram, I don't Twitter, I don't friggin' TikTok, I don't anything. I YouTube and I sleep. That's it. That's my life. Exactly.
Well, I did find your Twitter account, funnily enough.
Oh yeah, that's like from how long ago though?
2012 was your last post.
I rest my case.
Engaging with those fans.
Yeah.
Oh,
all four of
yes. Man, Twitter's full of poison anyway, really. So,
not missing any.
So tell me about your playing of guitar. Like clearly, yeah, I mean, I'm gathering that you've had lessons because you're an absolute gun. You're an absolute shredder from hell. So were lessons a part of your growing up or what?
No, my parents, when I first got my guitar, they had bought me this old Magnum, which was something else. But anyway, they told me that if they weren't going to pay for lessons if I couldn't play it. And to me, that seemed a little ass backwards. But they got me the guitar. I tried to play it, and I couldn't figure out how to make it make different sounds. So I looked at my Angus posters and stuff like that on the wall and tried to put my fingers where his fingers were and make sounds that way. And eventually I just kind of quit. And then maybe a year and a half, 2 years later, I picked it back up again and started learning with my friend in high school. And we just kind of read magazines and went to the public library and looked up, chords and things like that. And that was my teacher, was books and magazines and watching videos of Frank Mbali.
The old days, man, of guitar books. You would have to go and find did you have the Justice for All guitar tablature book? Let me ask that.
No, but I still have my Flying in a Blue Dream one.
Right.
And it is old and falling apart, but I still have it. That's the only one I ever did get.
Man, I bought that Justice for All book, and so much of it was absolutely tits backwards. It was absolutely wrong. None of it made any sense to me. I'm just looking at it going, this is wrong, man. No matter how you play it. Whoever's done this must be blind.
Doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
And someone to transcribe this wrong? I could do a better job.
Well, back in the day, publishing companies could get away with that. They could just put out any old crap because they knew as soon as it hit like a music store, people were just going to buy it anyway and be like, oh man, Justice for All, you know? Where these days the internet has changed everything. So you I want to hear about this first guitar that you mentioned. Because mine was an Onyx. And I didn't think it could get any worse than a fucking Onyx.
This, I'm pretty sure my Magnum would maybe on par with your Onyx. You never know. It had a single coil in the bridge.
Yep.
And that was it. The tone did nothing. The volume, it was either on or off. It should have just been a switch. And it had a whammy bar, but it was useless completely. It was someone had done something to the bridge and screwed it right to it, so you couldn't use it anyways. So, and it, it was supposed to be white, I think, but it was more of a yellowish beat up with black streaks on it, and
sexy.
So anyway, eventually I got sick and tired of it, and I put the whammy bar into the input jack and just reefed it and pulled the wires out. Went, well, there we go, I'm done. And that's when I quit for a couple of years. I was just done.
So have you, before, we get into like collaborations and stuff like that, have you had experience like playing with other bands? Like, have you been in a band? Have you done anything like that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've been in quite a few bands. Not all of them, like I've said before, were all that great. But, I've been in quite a few. most of them were. I was in a country band once. That was interesting. But other than that, they're pretty, pretty much all rock or metal bands. We did a little bit of playing out with a few of them, but the one I liked the most, we never seemed to go out and play. We always just rehearsed, and then went to the studio. So never ever played out with that band.
That's always the way, though. You end up in a band that you love. That's the one that always is together. I had a band like that too. We were together for so long. We finally did an album after fucking 6 years, and then we split up just after finishing the album. I was like, "Are you shitting me? All this effort, really,
for nothing?" Yeah.
But all the other crap that I did, that's all like available online. Shit. Let's say hello to the folks who are in the chat because I've been neglecting those. Hello to Ed B, Andy Dion, Doctor's Orders is here. Gary Hubbs, of course, SM Borthwick, Tom Rochelle, Hurricane Moon, Andy LeBand. Who else? Saga Kadabra. I know Bubba's here. Let's see, I'm just scrolling up. Preston Smith, g'day to you. Darren Denelak, we've got a full house today for you. Metalhead Hippie, good to see you, Jeff. Patrick Chandler, man, the whole gang's here. Laurie's Mishmosh. Who else do we have as I scroll through the list and see whose comments? Cold Acre, hello to you too. I know I'm going to miss people, but I'm scrolling up as fast as I can. Let's see. Scott as well is here. Anyone else who I'm missing? Super scrolling fast. Did I say SM Borthwick? I think I did. If not, I'll get back. We'll do another round again and say hello to you all a little bit later. Just thought I'd say hi. Thanks for all being here today. It's really kind of you to hang out with us today. And I want to know the story behind... I think it's pretty obvious, but I do want to know the story behind Hetriani. The name. Where did that name come from?
Well, surprisingly, I was trying to come up with some witty way of explaining what my YouTube channel would be about without having to make a really long YouTube channel name. So I took my two favorite dudes and smashed them together, and you got James Hetfield and Joe Satriani smashed into one person. Ta-da! Easy to remember and quick to say.
Yeah, look, I love it, and it really does explain, what you do. Do you think it limits you in any way? Now that you're like releasing your own music, do you think that name, I'm just throwing a ball out there, do you think that it does?
I don't feel like it does. Mm-hmm. I mean, people may expect a certain thing to come out of that name, but like I just did that acoustic song. I like to try and do stuff that when I start getting bored of one thing, I'm going to do something else. And I'm hoping it'll still sound like me. And they'll start to see Hetriani more as just me, as opposed to it has to sound like Metallica or it has to sound like Joe Satriani. They're just going to kind of see it as it is what it is, as its own thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Because with everybody I have on the show, I try to be, up to date with everything and know what you're doing. It's nothing worse than being interviewed by somebody who knows nothing about you. I see that far too often. And, I do see your music is far more. That's why I say, why I asked if it limits you, because your music is so broad. I mean, you do have a lot of acoustic tracks on your channel as well. And, you're such a varied artist. That's the reason I asked, because... I know people are always going to go to that and go, that's like Hetfield and Satriani. And, so... And the reason I ask is because, I've been on your ass for a while, and I don't mean that in a weird way, so chat, don't get weird, about releasing your stuff. How close are you to actually releasing this stuff through DistroKid or something like that, or getting this on Spotify and Apple Music, because we fucking want it?
Soon now, because you said that.
I'm sure I've said it to you in our messages before, dude. Get that fucking shit.
You have. I'm gonna level with you. I'm fucking lazy. All right, it's a lot of work, and I will do it. I promise. It's coming.
Good.
My wife's been on my ass. We'll use the same term about that as well. So yeah, it needs to get done, and I need to get off my my fat duff and get her done.
Yeah, man. Look, Pete Johns has got videos on how easy it is to do. It costs you $20, and if you use my promo code, it'll knock 7% off, man.
I told you I would use your promo code. I will do that.
I wasn't forcing you to. Just I think there's many of us here who are desperate to be able to, like me especially, like, you know, and a lot of us who use YouTube as well. You know, you can use the YouTube app to get that music, and I'm sure everybody's gagging to have your stuff. Are you thinking of creating an album anytime soon? Like, what's the status on that? Do you think you have material enough to create an album?
That was my original plan, but I keep seeming to release them just kind of like as singles as I finish things up. I just kind of want to put them out there so that I have some form of constant stream of content coming out for people, and I don't have, you know, like big gaps or 6 months where there's absolutely nothing except for maybe those little riff things I did. I mean, they're fun and all, but they get kind of boring to watch after a while, so.
Yeah.
I will try and get a collection together that maybe isn't something I've released already one at a time. I have a few that I've got aside that I might do an EP or something that way. Well,
the beautiful thing too is, you know, it sounds like I'm doing an ad for DistroKid or something like that. You can release singles. So, you know, you're not...
Yeah.
So, and so many people do that anyway. And the beautiful thing is you can release a single and then re-release it in an album. Make it as Gary. Just before I go to Gary Hubbs' comment, thank you very much, Metalhead Hippie, for the kind super chat. Who just wrote, "Yeah to the fucking yeah." So,
Jeff's awesome.
Yeah, man. We'll get to him soon. And Gary Hubbs has written here. I think he's talking about releasing music. Easily the most fun way to lose money. So. We've got a running joke.
All right.
How much have you earned, Gary? Put it in the chat so far. No. But, like, you know, the possibilities are there to blow up. Like, you know, I've said this on some of the Clubhouse chats. I have this band called Filthy Maggoty Hunt. And nobody's listened to that shit for years. And then in January, somehow, it got on a playlist on Spotify. And now it's getting 3,000 streams a day. And I wrote that. I released that stuff in like 1999. It's so weird, man, how people just pick up on shit, and then all of a sudden you start making $2.50 a day from it. And I'm going to buy a new house, you know, $2.50 a day and rolling in it.
Right, mansion time.
Yeah, it's
mansion time.
All right, so we touched on.
I got to get more views on YouTube so I can get my wife her castle that she wants.
All right. Influenced by no, I won't go there. All right, so I want to let's talk about, you mentioned Metalhead Hippie. How we all know Metalhead Hippie, who's here in the chat, and look, he's an amazing person. He promotes so many artists. What do you think of Metalhead Hippie? Does, like, you know, how does he, like, help your music and the whole community?
Well, he gave me the nickname Yeah. That definitely helped. Yeah, that definitely helped. He took a chance on a young guy and played one of his videos and made fun of him because he was standing in the middle of a road for the next 2 months. But no, I love Jeff. He does so much for everybody, and you know, he has helped all of us grow. And he himself is growing, and I think that's a wonderful thing too. I love watching other people's music, and all the support and love that goes around in that community is fantastic. So yeah, I mean, I have nothing but mad respect for Hippie.
Yeah. I join the show as much as I can. I don't have enough time to sit through 6 hours, unfortunately, all the time. But there's just so much music that comes out of there that is fantastic, and. Yeah, he's an awesome guy.
He just is. He's funnier than.
What can you say? Well, I had him on the show, and hip, slick, and cool.
Yeah, hip, slick, and cool.
All right, so we'll take a break for a minute because I'm going to play another one of your tracks.
All right.
This is a collab. This is one of my favourite songs that, and I know a lot of people love this song because it gets played a hell of a lot on Hippie's channel. So tell us a little bit about how this song came about. So this is with Matt Seven. How did this collaboration come about?
This Matt and I had met back in '08, I guess, and I had done a collab, a Metallica collab of Creeping Death, and I asked him to sing in it, and we just we kept in touch for most of the time till I had the car accidents, and then as soon as I started uploading again, he had seen my videos and asked me if I would be interested in collabing with him on a song, and I said yeah. So he sent me the track for Far From Alive, and he said, "Can you sing on this for me?" And I said, "Sure, I can sing on it for you." I said, "Do you have any, ghost vocal or anything to follow?" He says, "No." I said, "Do you have any lyrics?" He says, "No." You just write it all. Okay, no pressure. So I did that, and we got everything kind of sorted out. He liked it, and he said that the way I sang the verse inspired him to do the chorus the way he did it, because he had absolutely no ideas. So it all just kind of came together, and yeah, it is what it is. It's one of my favorite songs I've ever been a part of, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's killer.
He's extremely talented. Yep.
Yeah. And you guys work together really, really, I mean, clearly very well. So it's like you were made to perform together.
Yeah, I love working with Mitchell. He is by far, and he's he's just a really down-to-earth guy too. He's really kind, and he's patient, because I get really concerned about my abilities to do things, and he's like, "Oh no, you're fine, just do it." All right. But yeah, he's an encouraging young man too, for sure.
Awesome. We'll play this track and we'll come back and we'll talk about that too. So folks, this is Far From Alive, Matt Seven and Hetriani. And you might want to mute your mic as well from what we talked about earlier. Folks, are you ready? Start banging your head right now, because this shit is fucking sick. Oh yeah. that is the reason why Hetriani needs to have his music available to all of us to purchase, because, wow. I mean, boom. Amazing stuff. So, welcome back. Yeah, look, if you haven't heard that, there are links in the description to go over to Hetriani's page and go and listen to that over and over and over like I have myself. It's a killer track. So, I mean, all right. So you mentioned just before we went to that song about, you saying you thinking you're not up to like doing this stuff. Do you battle with like, confidence stuff like that? I mean, many of us
all
do.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that stuff?
Not well. I guess I just kind of swallow and hope for the best. Grit my teeth and just do what I think sounds good to me. And I'm figuring, like, if I like it, there's guys out there that are like me, they're gonna like it. So hey. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, I will always struggle with confidence. I'm aware of this. I've been doing it my whole life. So most of the time when I feel the worst is something that I really need to do, if that makes sense. Like when I'm really, like that acoustic song I just did, if I'm really self-conscious about it and I really hate it, then I really need to put it out, because that's going to help me to deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Like putting a bookend on these things can be super helpful. To be able to move on to the next thing, and I think writing music for yourself too is really important.
Yes.
What is the songwriting process for you?
Oh, it starts from me sitting down with my guitar and like I don't like metronomes because they have no soul. Even if it's just a kick drum, I will have something going in the background, and I will try and subdivide that up in my head so that I can play riffs that are not always on the 1 or the 3 or the 2 and the 4. It's so I can try and get something weird going, some kind of a rhythmic thing sometimes. But it always starts with a guitar riff. And what I'll do is I'll try and probably 30 different ways of playing that guitar riff till I find one that I think sounds good. And then I'll put it on my phone and I'll take it to the car. And then when I'm driving to work and stuff, I'll sing to it till I find something that I think sounds good to it. Mm-hmm. And then I'll come home and try and sing it. And it just kind of builds from that. Very last thing that's always done for me is drums.
Oh, wow.
Because I can't program drums. I have tried. They're laughable. Second last is always bass, because Gary Hubbs thinks I don't make it loud enough in the song, and that's because I'm not a very good bassist. So Gary gets to do my bass now if he wants to. See, it works out well.
So, hey, look, Metallica did it on Justice for All. So,
exactly. See, I'm thinking, how bad can it be? Look at how well that sold.
Well, right? The best version of Justice for All is the one on PlayStation. What's yeah, like there's actually bass on
Guitar Hero one?
Yeah, Guitar Hero one. It's wicked.
Yeah.
If only
it sounds way better.
Yeah. Poor Jason Newsted, man. That guy got the bum deal there in Metallica.
He certainly did.
He joined at such a bad time. I mean, poor bass players all around, really.
Really, yeah.
They always cop the shit.
Yep.
So
the butt of every joke.
Yeah. So you've been collaborating with a lot of people too. It seems like. Did you start collaborating with people since finding Jeff's show, or were there collaborations before that, or have they really come from Jeff's show?
No, I did a lot of collaborating back in 2008, 2009. That Creeping Death one I was telling you when I met Mitchell. I had set that one up, and it took me 3 months to do it. I had like 40 people in it, and there's like 5 or 6 guitar players, 1 bassist, 2 drummers. But he's an awesome bassist, so it's all good. No problem. And like 30 singers, 4 main singers, and then I had the whole Die by My Hand chant part where I had all kinds of different people send in videos, and they just kept screaming "die, die," and I made it all like the live version.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty epic. but it took me months to line up all those videos and have them all in time and all. Oh my God, I'll never do it again, ever, ever, ever. But yeah, like that was even back then. That was the thing to do, is you wanted to be collaborating with other people, because not only because it's fun, but you're opening up your subscribers to other people, so that you're, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here, so that their subscribers are seeing you and your subscribers are seeing them, and you can kind of cross. And yeah, I mean, it helped everybody even back then to build up their channels and get, some new friends and stuff going. Yeah.
How do you deal with? Look, I find collaborations incredibly hard. I don't do many of them because, look, I find them really hard to organize. How do you go about that? Like, do you take the lead with collaborations, or is it normally a mix, somebody else, or you'll take the lead on something?
I don't. Since I've been back, I haven't taken the lead on anything. The people I've worked with have all pretty much already known what they wanted, and they just send me the song and say, this is what we want you to do. And I just do what I'm told as best I can. Back in the day, I used to take a lot more control over it and tell people, this is where I want you to play. This is where, what song we're doing or whatever. But no, this time around, I've just kind of been taking the back seat and letting everybody call the shots, and I'm just more than happy to be a part of it. So I just do my part that way.
I don't know if this is a sore point, but I want to touch on it because I like to delve a little bit deeper. So you mentioned earlier, you mentioned it twice now, so you had a couple of really full-on car accidents. Were these, when did these go down?
2011, I think, was the second one. The end of 2010. They were within a year of each other.
Oh shit, man.
First one was really bad. It was in the winter. Well, yeah, we were going to my brother's house, and someone didn't stop at a stop sign, so we swerved around them and ended up flipping it into a ditch. And I had to crawl out, and I had turned because my daughters were in the back, and I said, hold on. And when we hit the ditch and stuff, I was sideways, and it herniated my disc in my L5S1, for anybody that knows what that is. Mm. And so I spent 6 months in traction. I couldn't even walk barely.
Oh, shit.
It was sawing through my sciatic nerve every time I would move. And then on my way to one of my traction treatments, we T-boned somebody. So then it was like right back to square one. So then I ended up doing surgery, and my spine was fused. Is the end goal or end result. So yeah, that laid me out for quite a while.
Yeah, right. Geez, I'm amazed that I'm here talking to you today. I mean, you're obviously a fighter. Like, to come back from something like that. I mean, how did you cope with all that? I mean, being a guitarist and a creator, it must have been.
Oh, it sucked. It was awful. I had to be laying all the time. Sitting up would hurt. I put on a tremendous amount of weight. I wasn't small really to start with, but I got up over 300 pounds.
Wow.
And yeah, clearly my appetite didn't go down. But yeah, it sucked. I couldn't play guitar or anything. I just, and I think mentally I was so depressed. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to do it. I couldn't do anything. So, yeah, it was pretty crappy. But, as soon as my spine was fused, I was able to walk again without any pain. And, I went right back to all the things I needed to be, felt like I should have been doing all along.
Yeah, right. Those kind of things can be absolutely, I mean, it sounds shit saying this, but I suffer from chronic illness, and sometimes I think it's been super shit, the whole experience, but sometimes it's like that awakening that really helps you realize what's important.
Yeah.
And you said you've got family, so how do your family, are they supportive of what you do musically? Do your kids love your music, or do they go, Dad's a bit of a wanker?
No, you know what? Surprisingly, everybody seems to like it, and they're all. I mean, there's the pride thing, which is fantastic. I mean, you want your wife and your kids and everybody to be proud of you and stuff like that, but you don't want to have to beg for it. So when they do it, when you don't have to ask them to do it, that's a nice feeling. My wife's family, like my in-laws, they're amazing. They're supportive. My parents are supportive. My brother is fantastic. Like I put up the acoustics. Anytime I put up a song, my brother will call me, from 4 hours away and say, "Oh my God, that was awesome." Your nephews are listening to it over and over and over. So, I mean, that alone is enough for me to keep going. Even if nobody else listened to it, the fact that my family's enjoying that's just enough.
Yeah, like, the reason I asked that, because there's always, it seems like in these music communities, the more I do these shows, it seems like a real lot of people who are facing these same struggles. Like I can see in the chat, Hurricane Moon's written, "I know how you feel, Het. My bottom 2 discs," I've just lost the chat there, here it is. "Bottom 2 discs are flat and had sciatica, had lumbar injections for a few years." I mean,
holy crap.
iOS Music Man, 35 plus years of daily back pain. So many of us deal with this stuff. So I think it's really inspiring to see that you've come out of the other side of it and looking healthy, creating great stuff. I mean, how did you lose weight, man?
Well, I made sure my appetite went down first. I watched a lot more of what I ate, and I tried to be like I would walk a lot more. Like I almost made walking like a hobby for a while, and just getting out and do it. Like that actually was probably the best part of it, was the getting out and just walking around and sightseeing. Even in your town you've lived in your whole life, just going out and walking around and actually looking at stuff instead of it just being there. Yeah, I found that within 2 months I was back under 200 pounds. So that was huge for me. I felt a whole lot better, and had a little more self-confidence after that, for sure. But yeah, that was just walking and trying to more monitor what I was eating.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Absolutely inspiring. So I guess, folks, hey, if you're dealing with shit, things do get better, Yeah, it's
They do.
They do. I always say that life's like a music WAV file. There's lots of ebbs and flows, but the music continues to go on. And sometimes it's good,
exactly.
And sometimes it's shit. And if it's shit, you just put a bit more compression on it, and that'll fix it.
Brilliant. I love that.
So I want to talk a bit about your recording process, because this shows clearly how to up on iOS, but we do have artists on who make music however they make it. We've had comedians on here. What do you use to create your music, to record your music?
I use Studio One 4 actually, and that is new since like last year. Before that, I was using Cool Edit Pro 2.1.
Man, I still have it on my laptop.
Cool Edit Pro?
Of course, man.
It was awful.
It is awful, but it's awesome at the same time, because it still works on everything.
It does. So I mean, I was afraid to upgrade because Cool Edit Pro was just so easy to use. I mean, it didn't get more basic than that as far as I was concerned. And then I got this, and it's been a learning curve. It's still, I'm learning things on it, but actually I quite like it. So yeah, Studio One, I swear by it now. I think it's fantastic.
And I'm guessing, of course you have an audio interface. What do you use, like, gear-wise for audio interface?
I just have the M-Track M Audio. It's not an expensive one. It's 2-in, and I don't even know it's the M-Track Plus. I don't even remember what year I got it, to be honest with you. It's one of the older models.
Yeah, well, that's the deal. I mean, Pete John says it on his channel all the time. Gear doesn't need to be super expensive or anything like that, because it's, to quote Pete, it's all ones and zeros at the end of the day, and use what you've got, because you can spend all the money in the world, and it's not going to make you any better a performer or anything like that. It's
right.
So with recording, are there any plugins or anything that you use within that? Is there a specific template you use to create to do recordings?
No, not really. The most I use for plugins is the Stevie T Amped. I love those, and I use the there's Roots one I use as well. I got my friend Noah turned me onto, and it's really fantastic too. And before that, I just used my Line 6 Pod XT, and I still use that. For a lot of the lead stuff I do comes from the XT Live. Yeah. So my rhythm stuff is more your plug-in stuff.
Right. Hey, thank you, Andy, for the super chat. Very much. It says these community interviews have been great. So thank you very much, Andy. Did you do it twice? Oh, damn. I better contact YouTube and get a refund. Oh, shit. So how many guitars do you have, man? This is the burning question everybody wants to know.
Surprisingly, not very many. I used to have more. I've sold a few. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, a bass, and a 12-string acoustic.
And what type of guitars are they? What brands are they? I'm always interested.
I have one Fender, and the rest are Ibanez. Ibanez everything. Yay.
Yeah, right.
That Explorer has been my lifesaver right from the get-go. I use that for pretty much everything, even my lead stuff. Unless I need a floating bridge, I'll still play it on the Destroyer. That thing is fantastic.
Yeah. Good. I use ESP guitars. I've got 2 ESP. I got my first 7-string. Have you played a 7-string?
Not really, no. I've fooled around with one at work once, but that was about it.
Yeah, I fooled around with a few too, and was really scared to get one. And then I finally got one. Was like, and this thing's awesome. I love it so much. I can't play metal on the 6-string anymore. It has to be on the 7-string.
It has to be on the 7. Yeah. See, that's what I'm afraid of. It'll just start down the rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
I just stick with my 6 and hope for the best. I'm sure I'll get another 7 at some point, or 8 maybe, whatever, or 29. Whatever.
I don't think I can do an 8-string.
The necks look huge.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be comfortable for me.
Yeah, definitely. So, what else have I got to ask here? So, we've covered your recording process. If once you start releasing music, have you thought about the way you're going to market yourself or anything like that? Because it's an important question. I think a lot of people go into it and have no idea about marketing. Have you put any thought into how you're going to do that?
Not till right now, no. It's good to see how unprepared I am. That's great. No, I haven't really thought anything about the marketing stuff or any of that. I just want to get the DistroKid thing done, so I can at least say I've done that, and then, there's, my wife and you can get off my ass. So no, but I want to do it. I haven't really thought much about marketing. To this day, I'm like, it's just me. Who cares? Do you know that kind of mindset where when people say they like your stuff and you're like, yeah, but it's just me. Who cares? It could be so much better or done by somebody who's got more talent or it can play it faster or sing it better. I always put myself in that little bubble where I'm like, it's just me, whatever. So yeah, I haven't really thought a whole lot about how do I market just me.
Look, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that too, because I think that's very endearing. I think that comes through your music and your channel as well. I think that's why, I can sit here and blow smoke up your ass till the cows come home and say that your music's fucking awesome and stuff. But I think that does come through with your music and the way you present your YouTube videos. That, you know, and even today, I'm sure people are seeing that as well. Like, and I think that you know, that really helps people identify, especially with what's been going on in the world, how we've all been isolated, and I think people have had to confront a lot of self issues over the last year.
Right.
Just going back to the pandemic, do you think like it's helped you in a way, like, you know, identify some of these things and maybe be able to, you know, push a bit harder and maybe believe a little bit more that you're as good as what we all think you are?
I guess to some degree I won't let myself feel like that. Mm-hmm. Like I just won't. I don't, because I knew guys like that. Like I got put in my place really early on with guitar. I was the lead guitar player in his band, and I could play the minor pentatonic scale at a decent speed. I wouldn't even call it fast. And the guys wanted to get this other guitar player, and he was, you know, a lead player. And I said, well, he'll have to play if I'm not, or if he wants to harmony with me, then that's fine. But I'm the lead player. And I had this kind of piss poor attitude. And so I could play the odd AC/DC solo. And he came in and he's ripping fucking Megadeth solos off like it's nothing. So I learned real quick, you know, shut up and let the person that can do it best do what they do, and stop having an ego, because no matter where you go, there's always somebody better. So I just do what I can do, and I try not to let myself think in the way of, you know, oh, you're good or whatever. I keep trying and improve, and you just write what I think is best for a song as opposed to what is the flashiest thing, which I have also been through. So yeah, I guess the pandemic has helped that a little bit. It's given me more time to sit back and actually analyze what I'm doing and how I see things.
Sure. So, you know, you've mentioned quite a few times on this show that you have acoustic tracks. So I feel like I really want to play one now. So just to do it.
Okay.
So what would you recommend I play that's not a cover, obviously, because I can't get a strike or a claim or anything? What would you suggest I play?
Probably Amanda. That one I wrote for my wife. It's pretty mellow and it's original, so you're good.
All right.
It's just called Amanda, I believe.
Let's do this for Amanda, because she deserves it, because she's pushing you to release music on DistroKid. So let's bang this out. You can take a breather, and if you need a smoke or anything like that. It only goes for a minute 23.
Yeah, and don't worry. She rides me about how short that is too, all the time. I'm only worth a minute. Yeah, there's no singing. Well, it's a beautiful piece. Just it's for you, you know. Like, but no, funny.
All right, this one's for you, Amanda. Here we go. Let's make sure the volume's up, and let's do it. awesome. So there's an ulterior motive of why I wanted to play that. So it's a beautiful song. And how do you... Because I know Kev, who plays in my band Desir, our band Desir, and I know everybody who plays metal comes across this. I'm wondering how you deal with this. As a metalhead, as somebody who plays metal, there are people out there in this world who hear, oh, you play metal. I kind of like it if I could understand what you were saying. Right? And I think that there's a lot of people in this world who hear the word metal and instantly think, oh, well, they wouldn't be able to play anything classical or anything like that. You know, how do you deal with the pigeonholing that comes with playing metal? Like, clearly you've been into a metal for a long time, so.
I try not to be rude, which is sometimes hard depending on how hard they're coming at me. But I'm a smart ass, and I'll if there's a guitar handy, I'll show them. Like, there's metal bands that write stuff that is actually quite soulful and melodic, and you can understand what they're saying. And just because, when they're really fired up and they're giving her on a hard song doesn't mean their whole catalog is just that all the time. I mean, there are bands that are all hard all the time, but I've had even some of my students, my guitar students, they'll be like, oh, I'd listen to your stuff, but I don't like it when people yell at me. So, whatever. They don't like heavy metal, that's fine. I mean, I'm teaching my share of Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber and stuff. So, I mean, I could sit there, and I usually do when it comes to like Shawn Mendes, I'll put my 2 cents worth in about what I think of the quality of their music. Sometimes that changes their mind too.
Yeah.
But you gotta be tasteful. You can't be mean. You gotta be nice. But,
yeah, because it can get really grating at times, because metal's been around a long time. It's not like this is something new, and sometimes you think, far out, really? I mean, it really kicked off in the 70s. You people are still like got this concept in your mind that it takes no talent or something. Like when you put up these metal, no matter what, drums, bass, guitar, vocalists. There's an incredible a lot of influence that goes into a lot of metal artists, and it's not there's a lot of the time metalheads have a very broad range of styles that they listen to, because if they all just listen to Metallica, it would all just you've got to be broad in this to keep yourself happy.
Yeah, absolutely. As much as I love Metallica and stuff, I go for like long breaks where I'll go like 6-8 months without listening to Metallica at all, because I'm sick of it. I can love them all I want, but you can only listen to it for so long before it's old and boring. And, then they'll come out with another album and I'll listen to a whole bunch again. But yeah, I like to listen to as much different stuff out of the ones I like. We're back to that. I can let AC/DC sit for a while, but then I can go on like a 6-month binge where that's all I listen to. And I will come back to a metal song re-inspired by something I heard in an AC/DC song, which completely changes how I would play a metal piece, I guess.
I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are on AC/DC continuing.
I think it's fantastic that they're still doing anything. Yeah. I like the fact that they're still doing it, and that Brian's back, doing the singing and stuff like that. I was scared we might have Axl do it forever, but yeah, that was unfortunate. I didn't like. Yeah. But no, I like it. Their new album. There's a couple of songs on there I think are really good. I've had to teach a few of them already, so Demon Fire I think probably would be one of my favorite ones off the new album.
So you teach guitar as well?
Yep.
And if anybody's like, how can people get in contact with you to actually be taught by you?
Well, other than Facebook, most people just get a hold of me through Facebook or whatever.
Right.
Like I've never really run into a problem with that. And I mean, my Facebook name is the same as my YouTube name, so
Yep, and I
it's
put a
easy to
link
find
to it.
there.
I just wanted to make sure because I put a link to it in the description. So
Yeah.
if there are any of you
Oh, thank you.
who want to get your chops up to speed, give the man a call. So do you, with the pandemic, like, have you been doing this like over the internet, or has it impacted you doing that kind of stuff?
It has greatly impacted. I don't do a whole lot over the internet with that. Like I work out of a store, a music store, but I haven't done anything online a couple of times maybe, but that's about it. And the pandemic has really hit me hard financially, especially through that. Because every time you think you're going back to work, you're there for, a month, and then you're back off for another month or two. So I'm not getting ahead with the lessons. So, yeah, well, nobody's getting ahead at this point, I guess.
Yeah, look, I really hope that you come out of this one and it's your last one. If not, man, if we open our borders, you can always come over here and live in Australia. We're free.
I'm game.
Yeah.
I'm game. I'll go over and be Australian. I'm fine with that.
Just don't touch the spiders and snakes, and you're all good, man. Everything's good.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot about the spiders.
Yeah, it's all right. There's only 2 venomous ones that can kill you, so that's it. People blow it out the water. It's not the case, man.
Yeah.
As if the drop.
Just make sure you point out which ones are the poisonous ones before I get there, right?
Yeah, the redbacks, they hide under the toilet seat, and the Sydney funnelwebs, they live in your backyard. It's all good. Just check the toilet seat every time you go. You get used to it after a while.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
It's all good. So, all right, we're getting to the end of the show now. So I'm going to hit you up with the last question I throw to everybody.
Okay.
If somebody out there watching this today is considering picking up a guitar, being creative, and they've been sitting on the fence for a while, what would you suggest would be the best time for them to actually start?
Right now. I mean, even if you haven't got a chance to teach or get a teacher, YouTube is fantastic even for beginners. Certain teachers on YouTube are better than others. Joel from our community, Truth Guitar Method, he's pretty good.
Yeah, man, his videos are amazing.
Yeah, like there's no time like now. The more you put it off, the less you're going to do anyway. So you don't want to waste any time. Just get right to it. If you have the love and the desire or the urge to even try it, just do it now. There should be no waiting for anything. You don't need to wait till I can do this or wait till I can get lessons. No, just do it. Use YouTube for now if you have to, but just get started. Pick it up, play with it. Just become friends with it. Sit in front of the TV and play along with the commercials. Nobody does that anymore. It's Netflix. What am I saying? That's what I used to do.
What's TV? Oh my God, what is this TV?
Oh my God.
My TV is my screen here. I only watch YouTube, Twitch, and everything else is my TV is just my computer these days. So I don't even watch Netflix. That's terrible. All right, look, thank you so much for coming on the show. We finally got there.
Thank you.
We finally did it. Yay.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you everybody who've hung out in the chat today and been here. Thank you for those kind super chats. Look, if you want to know more about Hetriani, all his details are in the description. Seriously, go and play the absolute fuck out of his music because it's brilliant. He's got so many songs. If I just quickly scoot over to your channel, where are we? Like, if you haven't been there and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Let's just flick over here. So, as you can see, here's his channel, and there are an absolute crap load of awesome covers, Master of Puppets. Look at this stuff. There's so much content here, you'll get lost in it. So, do yourself a favor and pop over and spend the day thrashing out to Hetriani, or just chilling to his acoustic stuff, whatever you like. It's your world. We are going to go out today. So, look, thank you so much for coming on the show, mate. It's an absolute pleasure to get to meet you finally and have a chat. So,
It's been an honor. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And get that fucking music out, man. Yeah. It's coming, folks.
You have my word.
Awesome. So we're going to go out today with another track of yours, which basically says it all. This is legendary, and it is absolutely fucking legendary. So, cool. Oh, no. You know what I have to do? I nearly forgot. So while you're here, I do have to remember, and I just looked at my notes there and saw I've got a giveaway I have to do. Nearly every episode, man, I forget the giveaway because I'm such a shit host. So let's do that. I think I've got 3 prizes, and the prize is for an app called Waverley XL. So let's go to the Wheel of Warts. Now, you'll be muted here for this. I haven't added a vocal thing here, so let's just get this out of the way. And these are all the people that have entered, and I'm going to spin the wheel. So let's do this. Find out who's won. We got 3 to give away. Here are all the entrants. Let's do it. Yeah! The Wheel of Warts is spinning out of control. We have Maytel Cohen. So I just need to write this down. So congratulations, you've won a copy of Waverley XL, and I will spin the wheel again. Let me just make sure I've got this written down. Maytel, and the next lucky winner is, we'll do a spin. I don't have the circus music going today, sorry folks, I've got Hetriani in the background. Is Farm Priem. There we go, so you have one as well. And the final winner for the Waverley XL is the same person won again. Looks like we have to do a respin. Spin that spinner! Yeah! Is GB Craw, and I think you're in the chat today. So there you go. There are our 3 winners. Let me just write that down. Congratulations to all 3. Let me get back over here to Hetriani. Hello! Awesome.
Hey.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Let's go out with Hetriani's track, Legendary. Thank you all for being in the chat. Keep making music, folks. Oh, yeah, anything you want to say to everybody here before let you have the last
Thanks, everybody, for coming. Appreciate everybody's support, and thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. Folks, get ready. Get ready to bang your head, because this is Legendary by Hetriani. Thanks so much for coming on the show, and we will see you again. Keep making music. Do the things that make you happy, and mistakes always make you better. Yeah, yeah!